Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. The whisper that changed everything. The boy hadn't spoken a word in 5 years until he whispered her name. Emma froze. The empty teacup in her hand trembled, warm water dribbling over her knuckles. She looked down at the 6-year-old boy sitting in the corner booth, crayon in hand, mouth slightly open. What did you say, sweetheart?" she whispered, crouching down. Noah didn't blink. His lips moved again, barely. A breath of sound escaped. Emma. She felt her knees hit the sticky diner floor. Noah, silent since the accident, diagnosed with selective mutism, a medical mystery, the son of the elusive billionaire Aidan Cross, the man who entered quietly, tipped generously, and spoke to no one. Emma stared at the boy. "Say it again, baby." His gaze drifted to the window. Silent, but she wasn't imagining it. She couldn't have. She looked around. The only other people in the diner were an old couple sipping black coffee and the line cook, Wes, in the back, yelling at a broken toaster. She stood slowly, eyes still on Noah, and reached into her apron pocket for her phone. She needed to record this, call someone, his father maybe, but her fingers shook too hard to type. The diner bell jingled, and there he was, Aidan Cross. Dark coat, crisp shirt, hair damp from the fog outside. His presence sucked the air out of the room. He saw Emma crouch near his son, her face pale, stunned. He was at the booth in 3 strides. What happened? His voice was sharper than usual, not cold, concerned, urgently concerned. Emma blinked up at him. He said my name." Aidan froze. His eyes darted to Noah, then back to her. "You're sure?" he asked quietly. She nodded. He turned to Noah and kneeled. "Noah, buddy, did you say something? Did you talk to Miss Emma?" Noah stared ahead, silent, his little fists balled on the table. "It's okay," Emma said softer. "We don't have to push him." Aidan straightened up, clearly trying to remain composed. "You're absolutely sure?" I heard it, clear as day. Her voice cracked. "He said my name." Aidan exhaled, slowly. For the briefest second, something broke through his usually perfect posture. A tremor in his jaw, a sheen in his eyes. Then he put a hand gently on Emma's shoulder. "Thank you." But there was something off in his eyes. A flicker of conflict, of something unsaid. 12 hours earlier. We rewind with purpose. Emma had just started her early shift. Rain misted the windows of the roadside diner. The place barely made enough to cover rent, and she worked 6 days a week just to keep her sister in college. Noah and Aidan had been coming for 3 months. Same table, same time, every Thursday morning. Noah never spoke, never looked at anyone, but his father. Sometimes not even him, but last week something changed. Emma had knelt down beside him while wiping the table. "Want to help me pick a crayon color, champ?" Noah hadn't responded, but he hadn't flinched either. That was a start. She didn't know why she kept trying. Maybe it was the way he watched her from the corner of his eye, like he wanted to trust her, like he just needed someone to give him permission to exist again. Or maybe it was because she knew what it felt like to be broken and unheard. Aidan always tipped big, never smiled. There was always this aura around him, power, grief, distance. No one knew why a billionaire would bring his son to a beat-up diner in a small coastal town. Rumors flew. Some said his wife had died nearby. Others said he was hiding. Some even claimed the boy wasn't really his. Emma never asked. But now the boy had spoken. To her, and Emma knew nothing would ever be the same. Back to present. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept hearing it. Emma. It wasn't just a whisper. It was a reaching out, a thread between them. She sat at her tiny kitchen table, cradling, A mug of tea that had long gone cold. Her phone buzzed. No number, she hesitated, then answered. Miss Emma. The voice was low, steady. Aiden. She straightened. Mr. Cross? I know it's late, I just wanted to thank you again. For what happened today? She hesitated. Of course. Has he ever said anything before? There was a pause. No, he said. Not since the fire. Emma's chest tightened. I'm so sorry. His voice dipped lower. You're the first person he's spoken to, and I need to know why. What do you mean? I've had specialists, therapists, millions of dollars worth of intervention. He never spoke. Until you, she blinked. I didn't do anything. You did something. I'm not sure what yet. But you reached him. There was silence. Heavy, charged silence. Then he said, Can we meet tomorrow? Somewhere private? Emma hesitated. Her instincts prickled. Why? Because I think he's trying to tell us something. The next day, they met at the Lighthouse Park just before sunset. Noah was with a caretaker. The wind carried sea salt and storm clouds. Aiden handed her a file. Emma opened it. Photos, reports, newspaper clippings. One headline, Mansion fire kills prominent heiress. 6-year-old son survives. Another, no official statement from husband Aiden Cross. She looked up at him, stunned. She was murdered, he said quietly. The police called it an accident, but I know better. And I think Noah saw something that night. Emma's stomach turned. You think he remembers? Aiden nodded. But he's too scared to say it. Until yesterday. Her hands trembled. And you think I can help him speak? I think you already have. She stared at the ocean. Why me? He didn't answer. Just looked at her. Deep, searching. Like he wanted to say something he couldn't. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His face went pale. He stood abruptly. I have to go. Please stay with Noah tomorrow. I'll explain later. Aiden. Wait, what's going on? But he was already striding back toward his car. The engine roared, and then he was gone. The next morning, Noah didn't show up at the diner, neither did Aiden. Emma called the number he'd used. Disconnected. She drove to the address on the file he'd given her. The gates were wide open. The house emptied out. Noah's room stripped. Toys gone, crayons missing, walls bare. The security system flashed, system reset. She turned to leave and saw something on the floor near the fireplace. A small folded drawing, child's handwriting in crayon, a stick. Figure of a woman, brown hair, a red apron. Her underneath, Emma help, he watching. Her breath caught. She dropped the drawing. Then, a floorboard creaked behind her. She turned sharply. A figure in a black coat stood in the doorway. Not Aiden, not smiling. The man in the doorway didn't move. He stood with the kind of stillness that made your skin crawl. Like he was used to being invisible until it was too late. Dressed in a black coat, no expression, no voice. Just 2 eyes, dark and watchful. Emma's pulse thundered in her ears. She took an instinctive step back, clutching the crayon drawing in her hand. Who are you? No response. Her feet hit the edge of the old fireplace hearth. Behind her, nothing but cold brick and the dead silence of an abandoned house. She could scream, but who would hear her? The estate sat miles outside of town. The wrought iron gate creaked in the distance, swaying open like a warning. I'm calling the police, she bluffed, pulling out her phone. Still, the man didn't move. Then he turned, just like that. Slowly, without a word, and walked out the door. Vanished. Emma stood frozen for a beat, her breath visible in the cold air. Only when she heard the faint hum of an engine starting somewhere beyond the trees did she finally exhale. Outside, her old sedan struggled to start, but she didn't care. She needed to get out of there. As she drove, the memory of Noah's drawing burned in her hand. Emma, help. He watching. She replayed the words over and over. He watching. Not he's. Just he. Like a presence. Like a shadow. Are too big to name. Back in her apartment, Emma locked the door and shoved a chair under the knob. She laid the drawing on her kitchen table under the light. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated, thumb hovering. Then she answered. Nothing. Just breathing. Hello? Static. Then click. She dropped the phone like it had burned her. Whoever it was knew she had the drawing. Knew she was in Aiden's house. She sat down hard in the kitchen chair. She wasn't just in the middle of a mystery anymore. She was being watched. Later that night, Emma did something she hadn't done in years. She went to the police. The front desk. Officer, a young woman with a nose ring and bored expression, looked unimpressed. A millionaire vanishes, and someone stared at you. That's your emergency? Emma forced her voice to stay steady. He left his son with me. I think that child is in danger. Do you have custody? No. I don't know. I was just trying to help and... Ma'am, unless there's evidence of a crime or custody violation, there's not much we can do. Emma clenched her fists. The boy said he saw something about a fire that killed his mother. His drawing said he's watching. Someone was in that house today, someone I've never seen before. The officer raised a hand. Do you have a picture of this person? No, but any proof they threatened you? No. But then I suggest you go home. And if the boy shows up again, call us. Dismissed. Just like that. The next day, Emma didn't go to work. She couldn't focus, couldn't sleep. The drawing stayed beside her like a silent scream. By noon, she broke. She returned to the diner, hoping, praying Noah might appear. But hours passed. Only regulars came in. No dark coats, no little boy. Wes the cook leaned out of the kitchen. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Emma forced a smile. Just tired. Then the bell above the door jingled. A woman stepped in, mid-40s, smartly dressed, sunglasses indoors. Emma's stomach dropped. Something about her posture, her confidence, screamed danger. Not physical, legal. Are you Emma Collins? The woman asked, stepping forward. Yes. She pulled out a business card. I'm Olivia Kerr, Aiden Cross's attorney. Emma blinked. Wait, you know where he is? The woman didn't answer that. She sat down in a booth, motioning for Emma to join her. I'll get to the point. You've been involved in a matter you don't understand. Mr. Cross requests you turn over anything he left in your possession. Emma pulled the crayon drawing closer. He didn't leave anything. His son gave me this. Olivia's lips tightened. Then you need to hand that over. Emma frowned. What is this? What's going on? Is Noah okay? I can't disclose. That. Then I'm not handing over anything. Not until I see him, talk to him. Olivia stood. Emma, you're kind. You're a waitress who helped a boy no one could reach. But that boy is tied to a very powerful family, with enemies. Emma stood too. He said someone's watching him. He drew me. He's scared. Olivia paused, just for a second. Her mask slipped. Then she leaned in. If you want to help him stay out of this, give me the drawing. Forget. He ever said your name? She turned and walked out. Emma sat back down, shaking. There it was. The truth, unspoken and sharp. Noah wasn't just silent. He was silenced. That night she did something risky. She drove to the Cross Foundation building in the city, the company Aiden owned, the one she saw in the clippings. She walked through the lobby like she belonged. I'm here to see Mr. Cross, she told the receptionist. The woman glanced at a screen. He's unavailable. Then Olivia Kerr. I'm sorry, Emma raised her voice. Tell them I have the drawing and I'm not going away. Something shifted, a quiet whisper behind the desk. A second receptionist appeared, typing. Fast. The first woman finally looked back at Emma. Please take a seat. Emma waited. Then security approached. Miss Collins, come with us. But they didn't take her to an office. They took her to the underground parking garage and locked the door behind her. Emma's breath caught. What is this? A voice echoed from the shadows. You're smarter than you look. She turned. The man from the house. He stepped forward under the flickering garage light. I told them we should have grabbed the boy the night he spoke. Emma backed away. You were watching him. He smiled. Cold. He remembers too much. You were there the night of the fire, weren't you? He pulled something. From his pocket, not a weapon, a phone. He tapped play, Noah's voice, soft, trembling. He pushed Mommy, then fire. Emma covered her mouth. You're trying to erase him, she whispered. Erase everything. Smart girl. She ran, feet pounding, heart screaming. Behind her, footsteps. But as she turned the corner of the garage, headlights blinded her. Car's screeching halt. A door flew open. Aiden, she gasped. He pulled her in, slammed the door. The car peeled out. The man behind vanished into the night. Inside the car, Emma's voice shook. Where's Noah? Is he okay? Aiden's jaw was tight. He looked tired, older, desperate. He's safe for now, but they're closing in. Emma grabbed his arm. Why are they doing this? What aren't you telling me? Aiden exhaled. Because Noah is the only witness, and he saw my brother kill my wife. Emma's heart stopped. Your brother? Half-brother. Technically. Daniel. He wants the company, the money. He's been trying to get custody of Noah ever since. The fire! Why? Aiden turned toward her, eyes hollow. Because if Noah talks, Daniel goes to prison. For life. Emma stared at him. Then we have to go to the police. Now. Aiden shook his head. We need proof. Real proof. More than a child's. Drawing or a scared whisper. Emma reached into her coat. You mean like this? She pulled out her phone. I recorded the man in the garage. He played Noah's voice, admitted it all. Aiden looked at her like she'd just given him oxygen. Then his phone rang. He answered. Went still. He hung up. What happened? She asked. His voice broke. Noah's gone. A voice in the dark. Noah's gone. The words hit Emma like a punch to the chest. She sat frozen in the passenger seat of Aiden's sleek black car, fingers gripping the armrest as if the world might tilt without warning. Aiden didn't say another word. He just drove, fast, reckless. Tires screeched against asphalt as they tore through the city. The neon lights of buildings blurred by. Emma didn't ask where they were going. Her voice had gotten stuck somewhere in her throat. Gone. Noah was gone. When they reached the outskirts, Aiden finally spoke. He was being kept at a safe house, one of mine, but the guards were ambushed. No gunfire, no struggle. Just gone. Like someone knew every detail of the security protocol. Emma swallowed. It was your brother. Aiden's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Or someone inside helping him. Emma turned toward him. You never said what really happened the night your wife died. What Noah saw. Silence. Then Aiden exhaled. She and I were arguing. I wanted to go public about the corruption inside. The company. Daniel was laundering money through shell charities. She begged me not to, said they'd come after us. She was right. Aiden nodded. That night I left for a meeting. When I came back, the house was burning. Noah was outside, silent, holding her scarf. Emma felt cold. He added quietly, later, when I tried to take him to a therapist, he screamed for the first time, screamed like his body remembered what he couldn't say. Emma's mind reeled. You think he saw Daniel do it? I know he did. They reached an unmarked warehouse just before dawn. Hidden behind a shuttered repair shop, it looked abandoned from the outside. Inside, high-tech screens, armed guards, and a young woman with a headset barking orders. Status, Aiden demanded. The woman turned. Tracking shows the signal from Noah's emergency GPS went dark 10 minutes ago, near the docks. We're pulling surveillance now. Emma stepped closer. How did they know where he was? The woman hesitated. We're not sure. Aiden's jaw clenched. I want a full sweep. If Daniel took him, we find the ship, the van, whatever. Don't stop until you do. As the team scattered, Emma followed Aiden into a glass-walled office. I need to see something, she said, pulling out her phone. She played the recording she'd made in the garage. The grainy audio crackled, but the voice was clear. I told them we should have grabbed the boy the night he spoke. Then Noah's frightened voice. He pushed Mommy. Then fire. Aiden closed his eyes. That's enough to get the police to reopen the case, but we don't have time, do we? He opened his eyes. No. If Daniel realizes the boy might talk again, he'll make sure Noah never opens his mouth. Later. That day, Emma sat alone in a back room, staring at the drawing Noah gave her, his handwriting small and childlike. Emma, help. He watching. There were other doodles too, clouds, a house, stick figures, but something else caught her eye now, a tiny boat drawn in the bottom corner, a red flag. She held it up to the light. Emma, Aiden said, stepping in, we may have something. A private freighter left from the docks an hour ago. Destination unknown. But it matches the signal loss location. Emma held up the drawing. This isn't just a boat, it's the boat. He stared at it. You think Noah was trying to tell us where they were taking him? I think he's smarter than everyone gives him credit for. Aiden took the paper, studying the flag. Red stripe. That could be the Siren's Reach. It's registered out of Panama, owned by a holding company tied to your brother. He nodded grimly. If he's putting Noah on a ship, he doesn't want him found. Emma's voice cracked. Then we get him back. Aiden looked at her. You don't have to keep doing this. She stepped forward. He trusted me. He spoke. Because of me. I'm not backing down now. Aiden hesitated, then handed her a file. This is everything I have on Daniel. His offshore accounts, shell companies, political bribes. If we can't get Noah back in time, we burn him to the ground. Emma took it, surprised by the weight of it, physically and emotionally. This wasn't just about saving a child. This was about exposing a monster. That night. At the docks, the wind bit at Emma's face as she and Aiden crouched behind a stack of shipping containers. Far ahead, floodlights lit up a cargo ship. Men moved in silence, loading supplies. There, Aiden whispered. That's the Siren's Reach. Emma's hands trembled. Are you sure he's on it? No. But if I were Daniel, I'd take the boy offshore, out of reach. Suddenly, sound, voices, boots crunching gravel, guards coming fast. Emma ducked, holding her breath, but before the men could round the corner, Aiden grabbed her hand. He pulled her backward into a hidden stairwell that led below a maintenance building. In the dark, they waited, heard the guards pass. Then Aiden looked at her. We go now. If we wait, they'll be gone. On board the ship, they climbed up a rear loading platform. The security was thinner on this side. As they moved through the lower corridors, Emma's heart thundered. Metal doors, stacked crates, the hum of engines. Then a noise, a soft whimper. Emma froze. Did you hear that? They followed the sound. Down a hallway. Past a locked door. Another sound. Louder now. Crying. Aiden picked the lock. The door creaked open. Emma gasped. Noah, huddled in the corner of a storage room, arms around his knees, pale, eyes red. She ran to him. Noah! He looked up, eyes wide. Emma, he whispered. She hugged him, tears streaming. You're okay, I've got you. But as she turned, a gun cocked, Daniel Cross stood in the doorway, smug. Well, isn't this touching? Aiden stood slowly, fists clenched. You're going to regret this. Daniel laughed. You think I care? There's no record of the boy being here. No one knows this ship left port. He's about to disappear. Forever. Emma stood protectively. In front of Noah, he spoke. "We have it recorded, your voice, his, the whole confession." Daniel's smile vanished. "You're bluffing." Emma stepped forward. "Try me." He raised the gun. A shot rang out. He staggered and collapsed. Behind him stood Olivia Kerr, holding a pistol. Aidan stared. "You?" She nodded once. "I was never on your brother's side." Emma's voice trembled. "Why now?" Olivia's eyes burned. "Because Daniel killed my sister, your wife, Aidan." They stood in stunned silence. Noah clung to Emma. Outside, sirens, helicopters, police. Somehow Aidan's team had made the call. 1 week later, the story made national headlines. "Silent child exposes murderous tycoon." Daniel Cross was pronounced dead on arrival, his accounts frozen. The Cross Foundation under federal investigation. Emma sat on a park bench, holding Noah's hand. He pointed at a bird in the sky and said softly, "Blue." She smiled. "Yes, baby, blue." Aidan approached, suit rumpled, eyes tired. "We're heading to the station. The DA wants to meet Noah." Emma nodded. "He's ready." Noah stood, clutching his drawing. This time he'd added something new, a sun, bright yellow, smiling. As they turned to walk away, a man in a grey coat watched from across the street, expression blank, camera in hand, snapped one photo, then disappeared. The stranger with the camera. The photo was already uploaded by the time the man vanished. One blurry image. Emma, Aidan, and Noah walking through the park. Noah holding her hand, the sun drawn on his paper. It was posted to a private server, tagged with one word: confirmed. Emma didn't know she was being watched. She was too busy brushing cereal crumbs off Noah's hoodie while the boy whispered names of birds through the kitchen window. "Robin," he said, then gave a shy grin. "Crow!" "You're getting good," she said, beaming. He pointed to a tiny bird hopping on the lawn. "Sparrow." Her heart swelled. Every word was a gift, every syllable a sign that he was healing. Aidan stepped in from the hallway, holding his phone. "The DA cleared the charges. Daniel's men are either dead or in custody. The Cross Foundation is shut down." Emma blinked. "That's fast." He gave a tight nod. "Corruption crumbles fast once the money pipeline dries up." She looked at Noah. "So what happens now?" Aidan hesitated. "I'm not sure. My family name is scorched earth. Every charity, every public contract, it's all poisoned." Emma said gently, "You could start again, clean." He looked at her, as if surprised by the idea. "Start again," he repeated almost to himself. That afternoon, they took Noah to a child therapist, this one hand-picked by Emma, not from a list of cross-family cronies. Noah sat in a playroom, filled with puzzles and picture books. Emma waited outside with Aidan, watching through the one-way mirror. The boy clutched his drawing pad. He scribbled shapes, spoke words to the therapist, laughed once. Then, without warning, he drew a strange symbol, a black circle intersected by 3 lines. Emma frowned. "What's that?" The therapist glanced up and murmured something. Aidan froze. "What?" Emma asked. The therapist turned to the intercom and said, "That's the insignia of Project Halo." Aidan's eyes narrowed. "That's impossible." Emma turned to him. "What's Project Halo?" He rubbed his jaw. "It was a secret development initiative under Cross Tech, before my time. Military-grade surveillance systems. It was shut down after a scandal. My father had it buried." Emma's pulse quickened. "Then why does Noah know the symbol?" Aidan's face darkened. "Because someone taught it to him." That night Emma couldn't sleep. She paced the guest room of Aidan's apartment, replaying the therapist's words over and over. She checked the windows. Locked. Peered out into the shadows. Nothing moved. Still, a cold sensation crept down her spine. Something wasn't over. The next morning, the doorbell rang. Aidan answered. It was Olivia, but she didn't come in smiling. "There's been a breach," she said. "The servers where the surveillance footage was stored, the ship, Daniel's. Confession, they were wiped last night." Emma's blood ran cold. "You made copies, right?" Olivia looked grim. "I tried, but someone beat me to it. Every backup I had, gone. Like they never existed." Aiden frowned. "Only someone on the inside would know where those servers were." She nodded. "Exactly. This goes deeper than Daniel. Someone else wanted Noah gone." Emma's voice shook. "What if they still do?" Later that day, Noah was playing in the garden when he looked up at Emma and said, "Cameraman." She turned sharply. "What?" He pointed to the trees at the edge of the property. "He took picture, red eye." Emma ran out, heart pounding. There was no one there, but she found something in the grass, a piece of a torn glove. She brought it to Aiden. He saw someone, the man with the camera. He inspected the glove. "Military issue, tactical grade. Not something you find at a department store." Emma met his eyes. "Project Halo, you said it was shut down." Aiden looked haunted. "Unless someone restarted it." That night, Olivia's apartment, Olivia was sorting through files when her lights went out. Click, silence, then the faintest creak. She reached for her sidearm, stepping softly through the hallway. "Who's there?" she whispered. "Nothing." Then, from the shadows, a voice. "You should have stayed loyal." A flash of movement, a struggle, a muffled scream, glass shattering, then silence. Her laptop sat open on the desk, screen glowing with one last message sent to Aiden's encrypted inbox. "Emma is being followed. Project Halo is active. They want the boy." Next morning, Aiden's apartment. Emma was feeding Noah when Aiden stormed in, eyes blazing. "Olivia's gone." Emma stood. "What do you mean, gone?" Her apartment was ransacked, blood on the floor, no sign of her. He held up her final email. Emma read it, hands trembling. "They want the boy." She looked at Noah, who was drawing again, this time a figure with no face. "What do we do?" Aiden didn't hesitate. "We disappear." 3 days later, remote cabin in Vermont. Snow fell lightly on the pine trees outside. Noah sat curled beside the fireplace, wrapped in blankets. He was safe, for now. Emma stood at the window, watching the woods. "I don't like hiding," she said quietly. Aiden joined her. "We're not hiding. We're buying time." "For what?" He held up a USB stick. "Olivia sent this 2 days before she vanished. Hidden data, names, project files, proof of something called the Second." Silence. Emma turned to him. "What's that?" "A protocol, designed to erase whistleblowers. Anyone who threatens the operation vanishes, erased. No records, no trials." She whispered, "And now they want to erase Noah." Because he remembered something, or worse. Someone trained him to remember. Emma blinked. "You think your father did something to him?" Aiden nodded slowly. "My father was obsessed with control, mind control even. Project Halo wasn't just about surveillance. It was about implanting fear, conditioning silence." She looked toward Noah. "He's just a child." Exactly why he was the perfect subject. That night Noah woke up screaming. Emma rushed to him. "What is it?" He clung to her. "The man. No face." She held him, trying to calm his shivers, but the chill wouldn't leave her either. 1 week later, a knock on the cabin door. Emma and Aiden exchanged looks. They weren't expecting anyone. Aiden pulled his gun. "Stay behind me." He opened the door a crack. Outside stood a man in a beige coat, face pale, eyes bloodshot. "I know what they did," he said. "To the boy, to your wife." Aiden's grip tightened. "Who are you?" The man said. "My name is Dr. Elias Rourke. I created Project Halo, and I want to help you destroy it." Project Halo was only the beginning. Emma stood frozen at the cabin door. The man calling himself Dr. Elias Rourke looked nothing like a scientist. He looked like someone who hadn't slept in weeks, haunted and half-starved, his eyes darting like he expected a gunshot any second. Aiden stepped forward, gun raised. "You've got 10 seconds to explain who you are and why you know about my wife." Emma flinched. Aiden rarely used that word, wife. It slipped out like a bruise reopening. Dr. Rourke lifted his hands slowly. "I worked with your father on the first version of Project Halo, before I realized what it was really for." "Go on," Aiden said coldly. "It started with behavioral observation. Harmless, or so we thought. But then Crosstech brought in military contracts. We moved into neural pattern mapping, fear response coding, silence reinforcement. We were designing ways to make people forget or never speak at all." Emma's stomach turned. "That's what happened to Noah?" Rourke nodded. "He was part of a pilot program. They called it Eden Unit, designed to test how trauma affects the learning patterns of young children, especially when paired with grief." Emma looked horrified. "They used his mother's death." "She wasn't just dead," Rourke said softly. "She was killed, on purpose, to activate Noah's compliance. They thought if he experienced extreme loss early, it would break his resistance to instruction." Aiden's voice was ice. "You monsters!" "I walked out after that," Rourke said, voice shaking. "But I've been watching ever since because I knew eventually the boy would remember." Inside, Emma sat next to Noah while Aiden and Rourke reviewed the files Olivia had decrypted. Noah held a crayon in his hand, drawing with small, careful lines. Emma peeked at the page. He'd drawn a woman. Brown hair, kind smile, red dress. Emma froze. She pointed. "Who's that, sweetheart?" Noah whispered. "Mama." A chill passed through her. "That's your mum?" He nodded. Emma leaned in. "What's in her hand?" Noah tapped the paper. "Key." Emma blinked. "A key." He pointed again. "Safe." Then, to their shock, he turned to Aiden and said clearly, "Grandfather lied." Rourke looked up from the files. "There it is. It's starting." "What is?" Aiden demanded. "Memories surfacing. The old silence codes are breaking. Your presence, Emma's presence, his emotional safety, it's all unraveling the programming." Emma asked, "So the more love he feels, the more he remembers?" Rourke nodded. "Exactly." Emma looked down at Noah. "Do you know where the safe is?" The boy paused, then pointed out the window. "Underground." Aiden's face went white. "There's an old estate bunker under the original Cross family home," he said. "I thought it was decommissioned." "It's not," Rourke said. "It's the core facility for Project Halo's backups. If the safe exists, it's there." Emma stood. "Then we go." Aiden shook his head. "It's suicide." Emma stepped forward. "They're already watching us. There's no safety left. And if there's something in that bunker that can clear Noah's name or expose what was done, we have to go." That night, a road cut through fog and pines. They drove in silence. Rourke sat up front with Aiden. Emma held Noah in the back seat. His small fingers curled tightly around hers. "Are you scared?" she whispered. He shook his head. "You make the dark not scary." Tears stung her eyes. They reached the gate of the old Cross estate just before midnight. The place looked like a dead empire. Ivy-covered walls, windows cracked, the past clinging like mildew. Aiden parked behind a rusted fountain. "We go on." "You foot," Rourke pointed. "The bunker entrance is beneath the old wine cellar." They slipped inside. Every floorboard groaned. Then Emma stopped. Noah's drawing. Aiden turned. "What?" Emma held it up. "He drew this exact hallway. That door, that staircase. He's been here." They looked at the boy. He was pale, silent. Then he whispered, "Below the red light." They found it. an old wine rack covering a wall panel. Rourke pressed a hidden latch. The rack shifted. A staircase opened into blackness, underground, and air was thick, cold. Metal stairs led down into a corridor of fluorescent flickers and concrete silence. Old signs marked with cross-tech logos. Cameras long dead, or maybe not. They found the vault, a steel door, biometric lock, cross-tech insignia half erased. Rourke inserted a flash chip, a soft click. The door hissed open. Inside, rows of file drawers, data ports, and a safe, Emma said, pointing. Noah moved toward it, unafraid. He knelt. He lifted a panel. Aiden stared. How did he know that was there? Emma whispered. He remembered. Inside the safe, a hard drive, a photo, and a folded piece of paper. Emma opened the photo. It was Noah, a baby, in his mother's arms. But someone else was in the photo too, a man, half-shadowed, wearing a cross-foundation lab coat. Emma's breath caught. That's not your father. Rourke went pale. No, that's me. Before anyone could speak, the lights cut out. Boom! The corridor shuddered. A siren shrieked through the darkness. Rourke shouted, "They're here!" Aiden grabbed Emma. Back up the stairs! Too late! Shadows filled the entrance. Armed. Men night vision visors. Guns raised. A familiar voice called out from behind them. Well done, little brother. Emma turned. A tall man stepped forward. Dark suit. Slicked hair, Vincent Cross. Aiden froze. You're dead. Vincent smiled. And you're still gullible. He looked at Emma. I always wondered what kind of waitress could break Project Halo. Turns out just one with a conscience. Rourke stepped forward. Vincent, don't do this. The program's unstable. You were always weak, Elias, Vincent said coolly, which is why you were never told about Phase 2. Emma held Noah tighter. You're not taking him. Vincent raised a hand. Oh, Emma, I'm not here to take him. He nodded at the soldiers. I'm here to erase all of you. Suddenly, bang! Smoke burst from the ceiling. Flash grenades. Vincent staggered back. Gunfire exploded through the corridor. A masked woman dropped in through the vent above. Emma screamed. But then, get down! The woman shouted. She hit the ground, firing. Soldiers! Fell, screaming. Vincent ducked behind the vault. The woman ripped off her mask. Olivia, alive, bloodied, bruised, but alive. Aiden stared. How? No time! Olivia shouted. Get the boy out, now! She tossed a USB to Emma. Everything's on there. Every name, every lie. Rourke grabbed the drive. This is enough to bring the whole thing down. They raced for the stairs. Gunfire behind them. Vincent screaming. You think the truth will save you? The world forgets. The world always forgets. Emma looked back once, seeing the fire spread. Behind him, and she whispered, No, not this time. Outside, dawn breaking, they fled into the woods, Noah in Emma's arms, Rourke clutching the drive. Aiden covered their trail, Olivia limping behind. At the tree line, Emma collapsed to her. Knees, Noah clung to her. Safe now? He asked. She kissed his forehead. Yes, baby, we're safe now. Later that week, press conference in Washington. Aiden stood at the podium. Behind him, Olivia, Rourke, and Emma holding Noah's hand. Reporters shouted questions. He held up the USB. This drive contains evidence of a decades-long experiment by the Cross Foundation to manipulate, control, and silence vulnerable minds, including children, including my son. Flashbulbs exploded. Aiden continued, My name is Aiden Cross, and I stand here not as a billionaire's heir, but as a father. This ends now. Emma's eyes filled with tears. The truth was out. But the story wasn't over. Not yet. That night, at the safe house, Noah sat beside the window, drawing in silence. He sketched a sunset, then a small figure walking away. Emma sat beside him. What's that? She asked. He looked at her, voice barely a whisper. Him. Emma blinked. Who? Noah whispered. The man who watches. A shiver crawled up her spine. She looked out the window. Nothing, but in the shadows, Just beyond the light, a red dot blinked, then disappeared. The man in the shadows, 2 weeks later, location classified. The world now knew Noah Cross's name, but not the way the Cross Foundation had intended. News channels replayed the moment Aiden Cross, once presumed dead, stood beside Emma and exposed the decades of abuse and psychological experimentation done under the name Project Halo. But exposure wasn't closure. Not for Emma, not for Noah, and definitely not for the man watching them from the shadows. Safe house. Inside, Emma sat in the living room, holding a warm cup of tea. Noah was drawing again, this time more freely. Colorful houses, smiling suns, Emma holding his hand. She smiled softly. Every day he spoke a little more, slept a little easier. But last night, he had woken up screaming. Emma could still hear it, his trembling voice repeating, "He's in the walls, he knows my name." Aiden stepped in quietly, carrying a stack of legal documents. "They're offering immunity to Rourke if he testifies," he said, sitting beside her. Emma nodded, absently. "I keep thinking, once it's over, we'll finally be okay." Aiden looked at her. "Emma, it is over. Vincent's dead. The estate burned to the ground. There's nothing left." Emma glanced toward Noah's closed bedroom door. "You didn't see his eyes last night. He's remembering more, and he's terrified." Aiden took her hand. "Then we help him face it, just like you helped him find his voice." She squeezed his hand gently, but neither of them noticed the small camera blinking silently inside the smoke detector above them. Somewhere else, underground, rumor screen flickered. Emma's face. Aiden. Noah. The man watching had surgical scars running along his jaw, his left eye twitching occasionally. He stood in front of the monitor, breathing deeply. Vincent Cross, alive, burned, disfigured, but breathing. He stared at the screen and whispered, "He still has the key." He reached into a drawer and pulled out a crumpled photograph. Emma in the diner, holding Noah, years ago. Time to finish what my brother couldn't. That night, storm over the hills rain hammered against the safe house windows. Emma sat beside Noah's bed, reading softly from his favorite book, The Boy and the Red Balloon. Noah watched the pages, eyes flicking to the window every few minutes. Thunder rumbled, then he whispered, "He's close." Emma leaned in. "Who, sweetheart?" Noah's face tightened. "The one who made the room with no door." Emma froze. She knew what he meant. The isolation chamber in the bunker. She'd seen it in the files. A place with soundproof walls. No light, no time. "Did you remember something new?" she asked gently. Noah nodded, tears forming. "He told me, if I spoke, you'd disappear." Emma held him tightly. "I'm not going anywhere." And yet, as lightning split the sky, she suddenly wasn't so sure. 10 a.m. Power cut. The lights went out. Emma shot up. Aiden rushed into the hallway, flashlight already in hand. "Generator's supposed to kick in." Bang, a door slammed. Then silence. Emma grabbed Noah and ran. Aiden shouted, "Stay here. I'll check the perimeter." "No!" Emma yelled. "Stay together!" But it was too late. Aiden turned the corner and vanished. Darkness in the hall. Emma held Noah, heart pounding, walking backward toward the panic room Olivia had installed. Then, footsteps. Heavy. Slow. A voice whispered down the hallway, "He was never your son." Emma froze. "I raised him. I taught him silence. You just taught him how to scream." "Vincent." Emma slammed the panic room door shut and sealed the lock. "Noah, hide under the desk. Now," she said. He obeyed, shaking. Vincent's voice echoed through the intercom speaker. "You know what fear is, Emma? It's truth knocking in the dark." Emma pressed the emergency beacon. No signal. Jammed. She reached for the gun Aiden had hidden in the drawer and waited. Meanwhile, outside, Aiden groaned. He was lying in wet leaves, his head bleeding. Someone had drugged him. He stumbled upright, fury rising. He ran back toward the house, rain lashing his face. A faint glow caught his eye through the trees. A car. He ducked behind a log. Someone stepped out of the car. Female, lean, armed. "Olivia?" Aiden called out. She turned. "You're alive." "Vincent's inside," he panted. "Emma and Noah, trapped." She handed him a pistol. "Let's end this." Back in the panic room, Vincent's voice got closer. "I gave him a perfect mind, Emma. You gave him nightmares. You think love can overwrite design?" Emma stood in front of the desk, gun raised. "Come through that door and find out," she snapped. The lock hissed. Vincent stepped in, silhouetted in flickering backup lights. His face was half burned, one eye milky white, but his smile was still pure venom. "Don't shoot," he said, raising his hands. "I came for him, not you. You're not taking him." He took a step closer. Emma fired. The bullet hit his shoulder. He staggered, but he lunged anyway. They crashed into the wall. Guns skittered across the floor. He grabbed her throat. "I gave him silence. I'll give you the same." Bang! Vincent collapsed. Noah stood behind him, shaking, holding the gun. Emma gasped, crawling toward her son. Noah dropped the weapon and fell into her arms, crying. "You came back," he sobbed. "You saved me," Emma whispered. "You saved us." 1 week later, courtroom Vincent Cross was declared legally dead. Again, this time, a body was found and buried. Rourke testified before a Senate committee. Cross-Tech was dismantled. Noah's name was cleared. But more than that, his voice was his own now. 6 months later, peace by the ocean. Emma, Aiden, and Noah moved into a quiet seaside town. No press, no cameras, just wind and waves and healing. One afternoon, Emma and Aiden walked along the cliffs, watching Noah fly a kite in the breeze. "He laughs now," Aiden said softly. Emma nodded. "He dreams too." Aiden wrapped his arm around her. "You know, he called you something yesterday." "What?" "Mama." Emma's breath caught. She looked at the boy running across the field, string in hand, eyes bright. A miracle made real. That night, tucked in bed, Noah looked up at Emma. "Can I tell you something?" "Anything," she said. "I remember everything. Now." Emma nodded slowly. "Do you want to talk about it?" Noah thought, then smiled. "Not tonight." She kissed his forehead. "Then I'll be right here when you're ready." He nodded, then whispered, "Thank you for helping me speak." Tears filled her eyes. "You helped yourself, Noah. I just listened." He smiled as his eyes drifted shut, and for the first time in a long time, he slept peacefully. Epilogue. A voice that changed the world. Years later, Noah Cross would become a renowned child psychologist, specializing in trauma recovery for children in silence. He would write a book titled The Boy Who Spoke in Colors. He would thank a woman named Emma in the dedication, not for saving him, but for hearing him when no one else did. And in that truth, Emma finally understood. Sometimes, the greatest voice in the world is the one that chooses love over silence. The end.